basically just gotta get off my ass and do it. I'll make another video. I'm back. It just got to be 11/10/2017, November 10th. Tomorrow's the big day. Yeah, tomorrow's 11/11. That's a big deal. I'm 44. It's 11/11 tomorrow. I'm all into that numerology and stuff like that. And there's a lot of stuff happening. A new shooting happened down in Texas. I don't really know anything about it. I just haven't been wondering. What the point of things is, you see that? All the radioactive embers that have lodged themselves in my lungs get ejected. You see? They come out. And either they come up into my mouth, or they get blown out of my mouth, or because they're so minute you can't see them. I mean, you can fit like 10,000 of them on the head of a pin or something like that. You know, that's how small that we're talking about. That, I mean, the emerging emergency that I'm warning people about is so minutely small. I mean, this thing, you can fit 10,000 of them on the head of a needle. And if you get one of those that you can fit 10,000 on the head of a needle, if you get one of those lodged in your lungs, it will give you cancer someday. That's how serious. And Fukushima, I mean, blew up hundreds of thousands of tons of radioactive rods and aerosolized them. I mean, they're in the air. And the jet stream, the current from Japan starts right at Fukushima, right there, almost right there, and it comes straight across to the United States. And the jet streams are real. The jet streams go across the sky. I mean, there's streams of air blowing above us, right? And that jet stream, the jet streams go east to west. It's coming straight here, you know? It's the most serious thing. You know, the other stuff, this Corey Haim stuff, and I mean, it's kind of like the Corey Haim thing, and the one guy, what's that other guy's name? Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey getting the whistle blown on him. But I mean, and that other guy, what's his name? The guy that's blowing the whistle to begin with, Corey, whatever. Because he testified to something in '83 when he was on the air. He was on camera and he said, there's other people, but I can't tell you who they are, right? If he would have told us back then who they were, it would have mattered. But, I mean, because crimes have a statute of limitations. I know this, right? When a crime happened, when a crime happened, go for a couple years, a lot of times 3 years with sex crimes, but if you let a crime go for a certain amount of time, then you can't, I mean, it wouldn't matter. I mean, murder is the only thing. Murder is the only thing that doesn't have a statute of limitations. If you murder somebody 20 years ago and you don't get caught for 40 years or whatever, or 20 years, right, they can still prosecute you. But all other crimes have statute of limitations. 3 years, I think assault is like 10 years or 5 years. I don't remember exactly, but that's how it is. And so if Corey Feldman had said something back in 93 or whenever he was on the air, if he had said people's names back then, they could have prosecuted the crimes. But since he waited until now to tell them who actually did it, there's no crime anymore. You gotta let things go after a while. I mean, not with like Fukushima. Fukushima is an ongoing assault. We're constantly being assaulted. This is like thousands of Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombs combined coming against us all the time now. That radiation is at our shores and blowing inland all the time. And it's cumulative, which means that it's only getting worse. I mean, and and the Fukushima nuclear power plant is still releasing radiation into the ocean. It's releasing thousands of gallons, hundreds of thousands of gallons every single day. It's so serious. This is like, okay, I'm gonna take a prelude for a commercial because I was thinking I needed to add something to my viewership. So I'm gonna advertise Guinness. Guinness is my favorite beer. This is the beer that I always try to get. I always try to get at least one of these. This is like a treat. I keep this as my treat. Guinness. I love it. I mean, I really love it. It's near to my heart. Essential water. For this is actually, and I've probably tasted better water before, but this is the best. I would say that this is the best water to drink now. This is essential water. This is the cleanest water I've ever tasted before. Well, I mean, if I've had better, you know, it probably costs a lot more, and I mean, you had to go someplace special to get it or something. But essential water, yeah, stuck up on this. This is the greatest, and these are the greatest bottles. I mean, overachieving. H2O, essential water, overachieving H2O. This is just, it tastes so pure and clean. It's awesome. Essential water is awesome. And yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go for the Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads tribute, but just Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne. I mean, he was like the first one. I don't remember if it was Ozzy. I think it was Black Sabbath actually, but Black Sabbath was actually the first group that ever Black Sabbath is like the first group that started opening my eyes. Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath and Black Sabbath, greatest hits, 1970 to 78. And Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads tribute. And yeah, I like Ozzy. I like Ozzy. I always have liked Ozzy. I think the first song I ever, or the first video, was actually a video I saw of Ozzy on MTV. I think it was Bark of the Moon. I think. That was the first time I ever heard Ozzy. That was like the only time I ever saw Ozzy or anything when I was little, was when I was over at my cousin's house on MTV. Back when MTV actually had music. Yeah. So Ozzy and Black Sabbath. That's Ozzy and Black Sabbath. And V for Vendetta. This is an awesome movie. This is one of the best movies I think I've ever seen before. Really, I've watched it probably like 30 times or 40 times or more or whatever, and I love this movie. It made me cry in a few different places. It's very touching, I think. I think that revolution and the people of a country standing up for their own rights and stuff like that, and like standing up for our Constitution, that is like the most noble thing to do. But I mean, I'd probably be more Republican than Democrat, but I'm still progressive. I'm more like a progressive Republican. But I mean, I'm Republican to the core. No, that's not true either. I'm more of a libertarian. I'd say libertarian, because that's what this country was founded on, right? America was founded on liberty, justice, truth, right? I mean, is that not what we're after anymore? I mean, I'm serious. Yeah. Oh. Suave for soft hands. And yeah, for beautiful skin. It's advanced therapy. And just a really nice girl to meet. You could take her home to mom. And she's very low maintenance. Just saying. Okay, so what's up with God lately? I haven't really been. I've been tuning in with God a lot. I've been trying to tune in with God. I mean, people that say as often as possible, then everybody thinks, well, have you really been doing it as often as possible? And I don't really know if I've been doing it as often as possible, but I've been trying to do it consistently and for longer periods of time. And I mean, I know that God exists. I just know it. I mean, there's just things that I've seen that I just have no other explanation for, other than the existence of something watching what's happening and changing things, or not changing things, but it's just that I just know. Because I mean, I took evolution class at UW a few times. I took evolution, and I just ultimately it got me believing evolution, but then after I got out of school, I kept studying it or whatever, and then ultimately I really don't believe it's possible that in the amount of time that they're giving humanity to have evolved, that it would be possible. I don't believe it would be possible for there to that we could have started at an amoeba and arrived at a man. I mean, in, you know, even in a couple billion years. I don't know how we could have started as a single-celled organism and ended up as humans. And then humans, I mean, where are we going from here? You know, seriously. I just think that God explains things much better. But that the Old Testament is the Word of God, and the New Testament isn't. The New Testament was added. I mean, I don't know when the New Testament exactly was added. You know, it was like 300 years before somebody even wrote the New Testament. You know, something like that. 300 years after Jesus supposedly died. And okay, Jesus personally said that he was the Son of Man. And people call him the Son of God, right? But the sons of God in Genesis are fallen angels. I realize it's not the sons of men, but the First Testament by Moses in Exodus, it's like Exodus 4, Exodus 5, I don't know, but the first commandment is thou shalt have no other God before me, right? So I mean, Jesus can't even, you can't call on Jesus before you call on God. You couldn't call on the Holy Spirit before you call on God, because you can't call anybody before you call on God, right? And I mean, the second, well, it's just because Jesus talked to dead people. Jesus talked to Moses and Elijah. Remember that? Up on the hill, Moses talked to Jesus and Elijah, and Elijah didn't have a funeral, so we don't know exactly. God could have taken Elijah, because God took Enoch. I think God took Enoch. So pretty sure God took Enoch. But Moses had a funeral, so Moses was dead, right? And in the Old Testament, I think in Galatians, I think, but it says that we can't talk to dead people because dead people lie, right? God wouldn't mislead us on purpose, right? Jesus would, but God wouldn't, because it's not God's nature, because God is truth. God will always tell us the truth, right? I mean, in this world I mean, I don't know if I'm just being lied to on every corner. Did Fukushima not happen? I mean, I saw at least 2 buildings blow up. They say that there was a meltdown in one and 2 of them blew up, or they say, do they say all 4 of them blew up? I don't know exactly how many they say, but I watched 2 of them blow up. I watched 2 of those buildings blow up. I don't know if it's fake, you know, but no, it just can't be, because the ocean is dying. I know that. I mean, I've seen the ocean and it's dying. I mean, if you've seen the ocean, you've probably seen a dying ocean, right? I mean, and it seems like there's a lot less bugs, which really scares me, because it's telling me the radiation is here. It's all around us. It's gotta be. The bugs are they're gone anyways. I don't know if they're dead. I don't know if they're dead, and I don't know if they're dying, or I don't know what's happening with, but they're not here anymore. And that just, and I sure see a lot less animals, a lot less birds. You know, I just, because I used to see like lines of birds during like the fall. I would see like lines of birds. I don't see any birds. I don't see any lines of birds. I haven't for a couple years. And the fish are dying. I mean, and the fish are coming out with sores on their bodies or whatever, and their eyeballs are bleeding. And it's just, this Fukushima is the largest, most catastrophic catastrophe that any of us could think of. It's worse than any of us can imagine. We collectively don't really know what is happening to us, right? No one can say. Like, I can't tell you for sure that you're gonna die of cancer, that the radiation's gonna kill you, but it's gonna affect all of us. It's got to. It's here. I know it is. You know, where's the bugs? And the animals are dying, and I mean, there's just something that's and it just seems to me like things are changing in the world right now, because they're saying that the rainforest has stopped producing oxygen and has started producing or it's not recycling anymore, it's using, so it's creating what I don't know, exhaust. What is my exhaust? It's just that there still technically would be oxygen particles in, because if your body is full of moisture, I mean, your body's full of water, right? So when you breathe out, you're breathing out moisture. So when you might be contaminating the air, but you're adding to the air too, I think. Because I don't believe that plants make air. I think that air is created by boiling water. Because when you boil water, it separates the hydrogen from the hydrogen from the oxygen, and it creates oxygen. Steam is oxygen. I think we exhale a lot of, I don't think that we use very much of the oxygen that we breathe in. You know, like every breath, I'm using less than 25% of the oxygen that I'm breathing in before I breathe out and breathe in again, right? Just because I'm trying to constantly renew the oxygen in my lungs, because my brain is sending me signals because it wants to keep my body alive, right? I mean, I'm stoned, but I can still think a little bit. But this is like the brain of, I had a brain injury a long time ago, and so I'm like the product of, I'm in the most advanced stages of a brain injury. I got a brain injury on January 12th, 1990. January 12th, 1990, I got a brain injury, and I was in a coma for a while, and it altered my view of everything. And I got to go crazy for a while. Everybody should go crazy once in a while, I think. And if you've ever seen like Titus Andronicus with Anthony Hopkins, it's my favorite movie. Seriously, I've watched that movie like, I don't know, a lot. I really like that movie. And I always loan it out. I don't know why I loan it out. I think I gave it to my brother this time, and he didn't return it. But Titus Andronicus with Anthony Hopkins. There's a scene where Anthony Hopkins is in the bathtub and he's acting crazy or whatever, and then he looks out the window and not Jane Fonda, Jessica Lange. Jessica Lange is wearing that sunshine hat or whatever, and she said that she's wearing these triangle things on her hands. And her two sons she called rape and murder. Her name was Revenge. I think her name was Revenge. I don't remember exactly. I love Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare. And if you take Shakespearean classes or whatever in college, I mean, he was so smart. I mean, and I don't know, there's actually a possibility that there's 3 different Shakespeares, but I don't really know if that's true. So, I'm not going to take anything away from Shakespeare just because I don't have any idea exactly, because I haven't studied. Okay, well, God's moving us closer every day, and I mean, technically, I mean, maybe I don't go anywhere because I don't want to die, but I don't really know if I do want to die or if I don't want to die. Ooh. So this is King Mountain cigarettes. King Mountain. They're made in White Swan, though. White Swan, Washington, which is like 20 miles away from Hanford. Hanford's the most radioactive place in the United States. So yeah. I'm not taking my own advice on this one. Because I do everything that I don't like it when people say that either, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe! There she is, isn't she a fox? Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. Okay. So, see, didn't that look like a person that doesn't smoke? When you smoke with people that don't smoke, and it's like, did you really even take that smoke in your lungs? And it's like, I don't really know if you smoke. I'm one of those ones where it's like automatic. I'm already breathing in, or sometimes when the smoke is coming in, because I'm just a smoking fiend lately. I don't know. It's been for a long time. It's been for well, ever since Susan left. So that's like at least 10 years ago. I just don't know. I tried to keep a positive spin on things. I mean, I've tried to be I've remained as active in my downfall as I possibly could, and I thought, well, I have such an active childhood, I'll be able to just chill out. The older I get, if I just remain active when I'm a child, then I'll just be able to chill when I get old. How's that working out for you? I mean, I don't know, because it's, I mean, there's just, I have questions, you know. Oh, Charlie Sheen, because Charlie Sheen, they said that Charlie Sheen that got accused, right, by I don't know, some kid, when Charlie Sheen was 19 and the kid was 12, I think, or he might have been 14. But I mean, I don't think that people, well, girls might be a little bit more mature than boys, but people under 20 generally aren't grown up enough to have. But Charlie Sheen was kind of established, you know, so there might have been, it might have been questionable. But I mean, there's no way to go back to that time and say, you know, and it's like, even now for the two God, I forget their names. What are their names? The two Corys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, you know, because it happened so long ago. You know, if it would have happened in the last, you know, couple years or whatever, and if you had more evidence, because when a whole bunch of people start jumping on a bandwagon and saying, well, he did this to me, and then everybody else starts saying, well, he did this to me too, you know, and it's a different person, but they did the same. I mean, it's like, well, why didn't you people come forward when it happened? You know, it's just kind of late in the game if you don't jump on it, because they can't go after him anymore because the statute of limitations is run out. You know, I mean, justice needs to be expedient. We can't wait for, you know, 20 years to prosecute this crime unless you kill somebody. You're not supposed to kill anybody. I mean, and that's like universally as God's law. I mean, in every religion that you go to, one of the biggest tenets is don't kill people, right? I mean, no matter who you worship, what God you believe in, or Allah that you believe in, or whoever you believe in, whoever you worship, the main, you really can't say that with Muslims. But I mean, let's go to Old Testament Christians, because you can't really say that with Old Testament Christians either, because Old Testament Christians are the hand of God, right? We're the active moving force for God. Old Testament Christians, Christians that worship God, Old Testament Christians that only worship God, not Jews, because Jews don't worship God. Jews never totally worshipped God. When Moses came down from Mount Sinai, right, the Jews were worshiping the golden calf. Remember that? All the Jews had given Aaron, Moses' son, the gold, and he threw it in the fire, and out came a golden calf, and the Jews worshipped it. And then when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 10 Commandments, right, he threw one down, remember? And then they put all the pieces in the ark. Haven't you ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark? No, Raiders of the Lost Ark is only the dust that's in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's from the broken tablets. Because Moses threw the tablets down. Because he went up on Mount Sinai and God gave him the tablets with the law. And then the Jews turned against God. And then the Old Testament wasn't a prelude to the New Testament. The New Testament started with a completely different story. Right? It didn't go on from where the Old Testament left off. And where does the Old Testament leave off? I mean, which part are you looking at? Are you looking at what Moses wrote? Because what did Moses write? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. Yeah, I think that's all he wrote. But then, I mean, somebody else, King David wrote part of Psalms. King David wrote, I think, isn't that? See, I've kind of gotten away from biblical theology or seriously looking at the Bible or whatever. I know I've read it enough times. I know I know basically what it says, and I know the parts of it where I've just gotten like total revelations about, like what the devil would tell us anything to get us to worship anything other than God, right? I mean, it says that in the book of Thomas, I think, or I think in the book of Thomas, but the book of Thomas isn't a canonical text. It's a non-canonical text, right? Because through the centuries since the Bible was created, there have been different councils. The councils of Nicaea, the councils of Alexandria, those different councils or whatever, where all the church leaders or whatever got together and they created out of the Bible that, out of all the pieces or whatever, they created a Bible. They created the exact message that they wanted their followers to get, right? And so, I mean, like the book of Enoch was thrown out. And the book of Enoch is something I would recommend that everybody read. Seriously, if you want to know what the story is and about the fallen angels and everything like that, and the fallen angels are probably still here because, I mean, there was a lot of them. And they gave us everything. I mean, and they defied God because they had sex with the women of men, the children of men, the women of men. They had sex with them and created the Nephilim. Nephilim were the children of the fallen angels. They were demons. And Jesus was one of them. Jesus was one of them. Samyaza was one of them. I don't know exactly. I don't want to say that I don't realize that there's also supposedly like Michael, who's a good angel. I mean, would you call him a son of God? Is Michael a son of God? He's I'm not sure exactly what I think about this, but I don't think so. Because I think that the sons of God was a specification in Genesis, in the first book of the Bible. I think that the sons of God was a specification for the angels of God that came down to earth and had sex with women. I think that's what the specification of sons of God was. It never says anything different. It never says, oh, well, some of them are good and some of them are bad. And it does introduce like Gabriel and Raphael. Was Raphael one of the bad ones? But and Michael, and just like there's a whole plethora actually of angels that the Bible introduces, but they are just the overseers of God's will, right? they're making sure that things are taking place like God wants them to, you know. But nothing happens outside of God's will. So, I mean, hopefully they're just intercessories for us. I mean, if that's, they're the ones that are helping keep us focused on God's direction for our life, right? Because even like CERN, you know, on the Hadron Collider, you know what they're trying to smash two they're trying to smash what, like two atoms together or whatever at super high speed at millions of miles an hour or whatever, and find like the Higgs boson or whatever, the particle that is first created as soon as something explodes. They believe is the actual active force that created us. Something like God. But I think that God really didn't do it like that. You know, I just think that God just said, okay, this is how it's going to be, you know, and it was everything. God just thought, oh, well, you know, I'll treat them like children. Like we're God's children. But we're not. We're God's children. And I don't know, the Bible has a lot of different things to say, and you just have to read between the lines, I think, basically. But I don't believe that the New Testament, that's where all the confusion comes from, I think, basically, because in the Old Testament you're teaching about God, and in the New Testament you're teaching about a fallen angel, and people don't take it like that. They take Jesus as an extension of God, but Jesus is the opposite of God. Jesus is the actual enemy, and God is the one that we're looking for, right? And I'm pretty sure that we're supposed to call him God. He never told me anything different. He never told me to call him anything special, or not that the name of God isn't special. It's like the most special thing. God. It's not gold. And that's only on, maybe they just wanted to prove aliens, so they called gold gold, right? But I don't believe that God is the God of light. I think that God is the God of darkness. And when you close your eyes, you're with God, I think. I mean, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I was figuring this out yesterday. I was thinking, or day before yesterday, and I was thinking, you know, when you close your eyes, you're with God. It's when you open your eyes that you become blind. When you open your eyes, you become blind to God. And you don't see God anymore, because you're in the deception. You're flickering back and forth between the different levels of, like, our perceptive levels or whatever, you know, where we start to understand things. But we never equate closing our eyes to being with God. You know, if you're never told, well, when you open your eyes, you're automatically in the illusion. as soon as you open your eyes, as soon as you open your ears and your eyes or whatever, and your understanding to what you see and stuff like that, because this is an illusion. I mean, even I know if anybody that's ever been in science class or whatever has seen how much space there is between the different parts of an atom. You know, I mean, it's like huge. I've imagined a lot of times that I'd be able to put my hand through wood, because the amount of actual space in between the parts of the atom, there's no reason why it's solid, except that I'm stuck in the illusion. I must be stuck in an illusion. I must not understand the reality of things, because I can't put my hand through a table, you know, because I'm so involved. And it's like, sometimes I think, you know, does Fukushima even matter? I mean, is it gonna even matter, you know, in the bigger picture? Is Fukushima gonna destroy all of us and kill all of us, or is it gonna be, you know, I mean, is our military gonna take over? You know, I mean, 9/11 was I couldn't believe it when 9/11 happened. I couldn't believe it. No, I could believe it when after they say the first plane hit, you know, but when the second plane hit, I said, our government did it. Our government. Because there's no way that a plane could just fly around. I flew a plane. I flew a Cessna, just a Cessna 182 or whatever, you know. And there was a time that I didn't call in. I made an adjustment or whatever on my controls, and I didn't call in. And within like a minute and a half or whatever, there was a jet plane sitting next to us, saying, "Is everything okay?" That fast. They are not messing around with anything up in the skies. Seriously. It's our government. Okay, well, what are we gonna do? Just think about things. I mean, are we trying to get somewhere? What is our next destination? What's the point, right? I mean, can we just endlessly buy new stuff and find fulfillment in life? Is that? Or is it meeting new people? You know, I haven't met anyone new in at least 10 years. Because I've thought, since I couldn't find anybody that agreed with me, or since I couldn't find anybody that came after me, you know, or I couldn't find anybody that made me feel important, you know, it was like, well, you know, you just have let me go, you know, I've drifted away from you, and you didn't act like you even cared. And I guess I knew that ultimately no one in the world in the end would actually care, and that I would always have to run back to God. That I knew that even after all my experimentation with running people away or whatever, and I knew that that's what it would come down to. I never had any doubts about it, that every person in the world that I would care so much to save every person in the world, and that no person in the world would ever care enough to actually come after me. I always had to run to them. I always did. I even tried to run to God when I was 16. I really set up a pattern, didn't I? It seems like there's a consistent pattern that I've been looking for the same thing. Excuse me. From what people have been telling me, you know, I mean, I've tried to listen to people basically my whole life, and do what they tell me has led them to the place that I believe that I wanted to get to. I just always thought that would make the most sense, right? That I would do what other people have already done to get. So I mean, I didn't know a whole lot when I was younger, but then, I mean, I knew when I got to UW that everything that I was looking for was right. Well, that it was leading me onto